I'm sure you've heard the term dry aged in steakhouses, some fancy restaurants, or some super pretentious ones. So what is dry aging, why do we do it, and can we do it at home? In today's video, we learn a little bit more about dry aging meat. So what is dry aging? It's basically the aging of meat in a tightly controlled environment, usually in terms of temperature as well as humidity. Now most of the fresh meats that make it to your grocer have actually been dry aged for about 7 to 10 days. Of course, there are meats that have been aged for much longer, but you typically won't find them in your grocers. Why? Because they're super expensive. Dry aging is a fairly expensive process, so this is typically reflected in the price tag. At the same time, these meats tend to taste a lot better and are a lot more tender, which brings us to our next point. Simply put, we dry age meat to improve the overall taste as well as the overall texture. Firstly, the process actually evaporates quite a bit of water from the meat, so this intensifies and concentrates its overall flavor. It's not uncommon for these kind of meats to lose about 30% or more of their moisture content. On top of that, the reduced moisture content actually helps you brown the meat a lot better when it comes to cooking. Secondly, naturally occurring molds and fungi improve the overall flavor of the meat. This happens throughout the aging process. Also, enzymes inside the meat help break down connective tissues, which make the meat a lot more tender. And if you're wondering about the bark-like outer texture of these kind of meats, this is also due to the microbes working its magic. Pro tip: if a steakhouse claims to sell dry-aged steak, but instead serves a watery, rubbery, tasteless mess which arrives either raw or completely burnt, I suggest you take it out back, ask for a refund, and keep all your friends and family far, far away from it, because it's probably a ripoff. So how can we do this at home? Dry aging at home typically takes one of three forms: salt blocks, dry aging bags, and refrigerators. We've opted for the simplest of the three methods because logic. For your sake, I'll explain the steps in great detail, so listen carefully. Step 1. Get a tray or wire rack. Step 2. Get a steak that's at least half an inch thick. Step 3. Place the steak on the tray or wire rack. Step 4. Open the fridge door. Step 5. Place your steak in the fridge and leave it uncovered. For hygiene purposes, use one of the lower shelves. Step 6. Let it age. Just flip it every half a day or so both sides have equal exposure to the air. Step 7. When you're ready, take the steak out and cook it. We aged ours for about a week and we documented the day-to-day changes so you guys can see how it looks like. One more thing, remember to trim off the outside bark and just cook your steak as a regular steak. That means medium rare. Pro tip: buy clearance steaks from your grocers and age them. Not only will you be prolonging its shelf life, but you'll also be getting a killer steak at a fairly decent discount. What's that you say? You don't know how to cook a steak?
Go on! Yeah!
Lucky for you, that video is on its way, so stay tuned. And that's all for today. If you guys enjoyed the video or learned something new, hit that like button, share the video, and consider subscribing. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.